This is my first attempt at making a video discussing my art and my process. I have a new microphone that makes me feel like a podcast bro with a ton of unearned confidence. And as I'm finishing a painting commissioned by my friend to commemorate our trip to Spain together, I decided I didn't just want to make this painting and give it to my friend and move on like I normally would. Instead, I wanted to experiment with analyzing the thoughts I was having while working on it and try to combat my own cognitive distortion that art is only important when other people do it, but when I do it, it's just silly and meaningless. And a lot of artists, I think, understand the struggle to actually show your work when it's easier to sometimes pretend it doesn't exist. This is the second painting I've done for my friend where I use photos from trips we've taken together. Our first one was to Ireland, this one was to Spain, and I collaged the photos into one image and then paint it in a postcard illustrative style. And at the end, she has something hopefully beautiful to hang on her wall and enjoy the memories of the trip and of our friendship. But this second time around, I decided to log all of the hours I spent on it, starting with compiling the photos and sketching all the way up to framing it. Because of that, my thoughts throughout the process constantly revolved around time, how long it was taking. I started the piece about a year ago and got interrupted by several life inconveniences. But even as I started working on it again more consistently, it still felt like it was taking forever to make progress. In general, as an artist, I tend to prefer making things that'll be fast. I think of a concept and think of the simplest way to get it across. Or, on the other hand, I spend a really, really long time on highly detailed work. And for me, there's no in between. I started getting in my head during this process about how fast an AI could have generated this painting if I had just given it all the photos and an example of the style from my first trip painting, or even just asked it to color in the sketch I made, because the painting is by far the longest part. And while I labored over the brush strokes, I chewed on this hypothetical situation where instead of making my friend wait an entire year from the time she commissioned it, while I contemplated grad school and the space I was using as a studio to paint in caught on fire, and generally I got distracted by butterflies, I just came back the next day and handed her a picture that I prompted from an AI. And simply imagining that scenario makes me laugh. Just picturing the look on her face if I had handed that to her. It reminded me why I, as the artist, am so necessary to my own work, and by extension, why we all are. You are the necessary factor in your own art. Regardless of your skill with a brush or aptitude for color theory, which a computer could reasonably do better than just about anyone, I was reminded that the entire genesis of this work hinges on the fact that I experienced high school 10 years ago alongside a person who has become such a pillar in my life since then, that we achieve our dreams of traveling the world side by side, and that she didn't want a painting of Spain that already exists. The whole concept behind the piece is that her and I saw these images together with our own eyes, making me the only person who could paint it. And yeah, I put my whole finger into a glob of blue paint while I was working on it, and an AI could never do that. But I think that's one of the ingredients in the meaning of life. It's not a revolutionary philosophy, but this is the point. I haven't been worried about AI as an artist. I don't fear a cyborg race replacing me, and I'll never actually use AI to do my work. I don't think AI could become my best friend's best friend and travel to Spain with her, because that spot is taken, but this whole train of thought has more to do with my own struggle with time. I don't feel replaceable because I'm slow. I feel tired. It's not that if I don't do my work, someone else will. It's that if I don't do this work, nobody will. So, my answer for now to the question of time is to reappraise the value of 3 hours' work on a painting, which is how long the time-lapsed footage shows. It's going to be in my best friend's home and probably be cherished more than some of the items in the Louvre are cherished, and for a very long time. Then compare that value to 3 hours spent doing literally anything else. I think it was worth it.